What if Jesus returned tonight? Would your heart be ready to meet him? Or would something deep inside you whisper, "Not yet, Lord"? There is a quiet fear many carry, especially in the stillness of the evening, when memories grow louder and time feels shorter. A question that lingers in the soul: have I truly lived in faith, or have I simply passed through life hoping there would always be more time? The Lord, in his infinite wisdom, gave us a warning wrapped in love. In Matthew 24:44, he said, "Therefore you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect." Not tomorrow, not when everything feels complete, not when we finally fix what we've been avoiding, but at an hour unknown, unseen, and sudden. Many believe they are ready, yet their hearts are heavy with worry, their spirits distracted by the noise of the world, their faith quietly set aside for another day that never seems to come. You may have known Christ for years. You may have prayed, attended, believed, yet still feel something unsettled within, a distance you cannot quite explain, a silence where peace should be. And so the question returns, not to condemn, but to awaken. Are you truly ready to stand before him, to look into the eyes of the Savior who gave everything for you? This is not a message of fear. It is a call of grace, a whisper from heaven reaching into your life right now, because the truth is simple and unchanging. His return is certain, and the time to prepare your heart is not someday, it is now. When the Lord Jesus spoke the words in Matthew 24:44, he was not trying to frighten his followers. He was preparing their hearts, guiding them with truth so they would not be lost in confusion when the world grows uncertain. He sat with his disciples, knowing their fears, understanding their human nature, and he spoke clearly about his return, not as a distant story, but as a real and certain moment that would come like a sudden light breaking through the darkness.
"Be ready," he said, not because the Father desires to catch anyone off guard, but because he desires his children to live awake, aware, and anchored in faith. Readiness is not about knowing the exact time. It is about the condition of the heart, a heart that remains close to Christ, a life that is shaped by his presence, not just on Sundays, not just in moments of crisis, but in the quiet, ordinary days that make up our lives. Many people, especially later in life, begin to reflect more deeply. They look back at years gone by, at choices made, at moments when they felt near to God, and moments when they drifted away. There can be a gentle ache, a question that rises within. Have I truly walked with him, or have I simply known about him? The difference is profound, because knowing about Christ fills the mind, but walking with him transforms the soul. The Lord never called us into a life of empty routine. He never asked for perfect performance. What he desires is relationship, a living connection, where you speak to him as your Father, where you trust him with your fears, where his peace begins to settle your restless thoughts. Being ready does not mean being flawless. It means being faithful, turning your heart toward him again and again, even after failure, even after doubt, even after seasons of silence. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to become spiritually asleep, to believe there will always be more time, more chances, another tomorrow to make things right. But Jesus gently reminds us the moment of his return will not wait for our convenience. It will come according to the Father's perfect will. This is why his words carry both urgency and hope. Urgency because time is not in our control, and hope because right now, in this very moment, his grace is still reaching for you. So the question is not, do I know everything about the end times? The question is much simpler, much deeper. Is my heart close to the Lord today? Am I walking in faith? Am I living in His love? Am I at peace with Him? Because when Christ returns, it will not be knowledge that prepares you. It will be the quiet, steady relationship you have built with Him, day by day, breath by breath, held together by grace.
There is something deeply human within all of us, a quiet tendency to delay what matters most, to believe that tomorrow will offer another chance, another moment to return to the Lord, another opportunity to make peace with Him. We tell ourselves, I will pray more later, I will draw closer when life slows down, I will seek Him when I feel ready. Yet the truth Jesus spoke in Matthew 24:44 gently interrupts that thinking, reminding us that His coming will arrive at an hour we do not expect. This is where the heart must pause and reflect, not in fear, but in honesty. What does it truly mean to be unprepared? It is not about lacking knowledge, it is about drifting, slowly, quietly, almost unnoticed. Life fills with responsibilities, with concerns, with routines that seem harmless, and over time the connection with Christ becomes distant, not broken completely, but softened, weakened, placed behind other priorities. The soul does not rebel loudly, it simply becomes tired, distracted, and silent. And yet the Lord sees beyond appearances. He does not measure readiness by outward actions alone. He looks at the inner place, the thoughts we carry, the burdens we hide, the love we have either nurtured or neglected. A person may appear strong in faith on the outside, yet inside feel empty, uncertain, longing for peace that has not fully settled. Another may feel unworthy, thinking they have gone too far, yet their heart still quietly reaches for Him, and that reaching matters deeply to the Father. The world teaches us to prepare for everything we can control: finances, health, plans for the future. But how often do we prepare our spirit to stand before Christ? We insure our homes, we organize our lives, we think ahead for years, yet the most important moment, the moment we meet Him, is often left unexamined, as if it were too distant to consider. This is the gentle warning within His words, not to accuse, but to awaken, to bring clarity where there has been delay. There is also the weight of regret that many carry as the years pass, memories of moments when the Lord called, when His voice was felt, when His presence was near, yet something held us back: fear, pride, distraction, or simply the belief that there would always be more time. These thoughts can settle heavily, but they are not meant to trap you. They are meant to guide you back, because the Lord's desire is not to remind you of what was lost, but to restore what can still be found. So the reflection becomes personal, quiet, and real. If He came today, not in some distant future, but now, would my heart recognize His presence with peace, or would it feel unprepared, unsettled, searching for something I postponed? This question is not meant to bring anxiety. It is meant to bring truth, because within that truth is an invitation, a call from heaven to return, to realign, to awaken the faith that may have grown still. And in that moment of reflection, something beautiful begins. Not perfection, not sudden transformation, but awareness, a soft turning of the heart back toward the Father, where grace is waiting, where hope has never left, where Christ stands ready to receive anyone who chooses, even now, to draw near. So what does it truly look like to be ready, not in theory, but in the quiet, everyday moments of your life? The Lord never asked for something complicated. He did not design faith to be unreachable. Instead, He invites you into simple, steady steps that bring your heart closer to Him, one day at a time. Readiness begins in the unseen places, in the way you speak to the Father when no one else is listening, in the way you trust Him with the worries that keep you awake at night, in the way you choose peace when anxiety tries to take hold. Prayer does not need to be perfect. It does not need special words. It is simply opening your heart and saying, "Lord, I am here. I need you. Guide me." Even a few honest moments each day can begin to restore something deep within your spirit. As you speak to Him, something shifts, not always instantly, but steadily, like light slowly entering a room that has been dim for too long. Another step toward readiness is forgiveness, and this can be one of the hardest. Many carry old wounds, words that hurt, betrayals that were never fully healed, and over time, these burdens become heavy. Yet the Lord calls us to release them, not because others deserve it, but because your heart deserves peace. When you let go, even little by little, you make space for His grace to settle within you, and that grace brings a freedom the world cannot offer.
There is also the quiet act of surrender, trusting God with what you cannot control. As the years pass, there can be fears about health, about family, about what lies ahead, and these thoughts can feel overwhelming. But the Father gently reminds you, you were never meant to carry everything alone. Placing your trust in Him does not remove every uncertainty, but it replaces fear with a deeper sense of peace, knowing that you are held in His care. Being ready also means returning to love, not just in words, but in action, showing kindness, offering patience, reaching out to someone who may feel alone. These moments may seem small, but in the eyes of heaven, they carry great meaning. They reflect the heart of Christ, who lived in love, who gave without hesitation, who saw value in every person He encountered. And perhaps most importantly, readiness is not about achieving perfection. It is about direction. It is about turning your heart toward the Lord again, even if you feel distant, even if your faith feels weak, even if you are unsure where to begin. The beauty of grace is that it meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. So today, not someday, you can begin. A quiet prayer, a moment of release, a step toward trust. These are the ways a heart becomes ready, not through pressure, not through fear, but through a growing relationship with the one who loves you completely. And as that relationship deepens, something within you becomes steady, anchored, prepared. Not because you forced it, but because you walked with Him day by day, held by His peace. There is a turning point in the soul when readiness no longer feels like a burden, but becomes a quiet source of peace. At first, the thought of Christ returning can stir unease. It can awaken questions, even fears about whether we have done enough, whether we are truly prepared. But as the heart draws closer to the Lord, something begins to change. The fear slowly fades, and in its place, hope begins to rise. Because the truth is this: Jesus is not returning to search for reasons to reject those who belong to Him. He is coming to gather, to receive, to fulfill the promise He spoke with love. His desire has never been to condemn a faithful heart, but to welcome it into His presence, where peace is complete and everlasting. This is why readiness is not about striving to earn His acceptance. It is about resting in His grace, allowing His love to shape you from within. The more you walk with Christ, the more your heart begins to settle. There is a calm that cannot be explained by circumstances, a quiet assurance that even in uncertainty, you are not alone. The noise of the world may continue, challenges may still arise, but deep within there is a steady anchor, a sense that your life is held by the Father and your future is secure in Him. This transformation is not always dramatic. It often happens gently over time, through small moments of trust, through whispered prayers, through choosing faith when doubt appears.
You begin to notice that your thoughts are less troubled, your spirit more at ease, your perspective more centered on heaven than on temporary concerns. The things that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their hold because your focus has shifted towards something eternal. And in that place, readiness becomes something beautiful. It is no longer about watching the clock or fearing the unknown. It is about living each day with a heart that is at peace with God. It is about knowing that if the Lord were to call you today, your soul would respond not with panic, but with recognition, because you have come to know His presence, to trust His voice, to rest in His love. There is also a deep comfort in remembering that His grace is still reaching you now. No matter what your past holds, no matter how far you feel you have wandered, the invitation has not been withdrawn. The door is still open. The Father is still calling. Christ is still extending His hand. This is the hope that carries us, not our perfection, but His mercy, not our strength, but His faithfulness.
So instead of asking, "Am I ready enough?" the heart begins to ask a different question. Am I walking with Him today? And in that question there is freedom, because readiness is no longer a distant goal. It becomes a present reality, a life lived in connection with the Lord, filled with His peace, sustained by His love, and guided by the quiet assurance that when He comes, you will be ready, not because you achieved it on your own, but because you remained in Him. And that is where true hope lives, in a heart transformed, at rest, and gently waiting, not in fear, but in faith. May the peace of the Lord rest gently upon your heart tonight. May His presence fill every quiet place within you, bringing comfort where there has been worry, bringing light where there has been uncertainty. May the Father remind you that you are never too far, never too late. His grace still reaches you, His love still holds you, and His invitation still stands. As you go forward from this moment, may your spirit grow steady in faith, may your thoughts be anchored in hope, and may your heart remain close to Christ, not out of fear, but out of love. And if His return were to come sooner than expected, may you meet Him with a calm soul, a peaceful heart, and a quiet confidence that you belong to Him. If this message has spoken to you, you can simply take a moment, reflect, and continue walking with the Lord each day. And if you feel led, you're always welcome to stay connected, to join this journey of faith by subscribing so we can continue growing together in His truth, His peace, and His everlasting love. Stay ready, stay in His grace, and may the Lord bless you and keep you always.